The Godfather is an open-world video game that was developed by EA Redwood Shores and published by Electronic Arts. It was released in 2006 for the PlayStation 2, Microsoft Xbox, Windows, PlayStation Portable, Xbox 360, and in 2007 it was released for the Wii and PlayStation 3. The PSP game is a stripped-down version called Mob Wars. The cutscenes are pre-rendered and there isn't as much free roaming. Instead, it's all broken down into chapters. And there's also the whole Mob Wars section, which is like kind of a different game. The PS3 version is called the Dawn Edition and features a ton of extra content. Pause the video here if you want to read everything that has changed, because it's quite a big list. The Dawn Edition also utilizes the 6-axis controller, but you don't actually have to do the motions, you can just press the buttons, which is what I did. The Wii version is called the Black Hand Edition, and it is essentially the same as the Dawn Edition, but with some tacked-on motion controls. You use both the nunchuck and the Wiimote to dish out jabs and punches. Also, the Dawn Edition did go a bit further by adding a little bit more content. Reviews for the game were generally well received, with the PSP game getting the worst scores. Marlon Brando, James Caan, and Robert Duvall reprised their roles for the video game, which is pretty amazing. It wouldn't be the same without them because they have such iconic voices.
So I've been recreating scenes and adding new scenes as my character and going back in time and drawing from my memory of what we did many years ago.
Brando died in 2004 but was able to record his dialogue before his death, which also happened to be his last acting role. Francis Ford Coppola, the director of 3 Godfather films, actually hated the video game. What he said was that they hire those actors to be there and only introduce very minor characters, and then for the next hour, they shoot and kill each other. And then he said, "I had absolutely nothing to do with the game and I disapprove. I think it's a misuse of the film." Yeah, it's pretty clear that he didn't like the game. Al Pacino turned down offers to lend his voice and likeness to the game and instead decided to lend it to Scarface, The World Is Yours. Before we compare the graphics, please subscribe to this channel and share this video. The more views I get, the more content I can create. Thanks for being awesome. Taking a look at the frame rates, the PlayStation 2 runs at 30 frames, but can drop to the low 20s when a lot is on the screen. The Xbox runs at 30 frames also and has some dips to the low 20s when a lot of particles appear like sparks when hitting a car. It does run a bit smoother than the PS2. The Wii plays at a pretty smooth 30 frames and very minor dips. The Xbox 360 also plays at 30 frames per second and can get down to 24 FPS when a lot is on the screen, but does run closer to the 30 most of the time. The PS3 also plays at 30 frames and actually sticks between 28 and 30 a lot of the times. It can get down to the low 20s during extreme moments though. The PSP, I couldn't capture the frame rate, felt like 20-25 frames when I was playing it. Now my PC, it's running at 60 frames per second, but I believe it did run around 30 FPS on PC back in the day. Looking on the PS2 and Xbox first, I gotta say that they both look pretty good. You can see a lot more aliasing going on the PlayStation 2, but graphically they seem pretty equal. You can see a bit more textures on the brick wall here versus the PS2. Also, the lady is wearing a different color dress, same with the guy. The aliasing on the letter is pretty bad here, and the car is a different color. I wonder if the background assets such as people and vehicles use randomly generated colors. You can see more detail on the shop's windows on the Xbox versus the PS2. This is pretty interesting. The PlayStation 2's draw distance is better here. On the Xbox, the buildings are gray blocks, unless of course this is a depth of field and is supposed to look this way. Either way, looks better on the PS2. But the windows on this shop looks better on the Xbox. Let's bring in the PC. Now we know that it's obviously going to look better, but still fun to compare. The draw distance has increased a lot and you can see the Empire State Building. I will say that the consoles do give a 1940s color tone vibe better though. This is further proof of certain assets using randomly generated color palettes, as these are all different colors. During the explosion, the PC doesn't get the orange hue in the foreground like the other two. On Windows, you get a real nice shot of this random man's face. His nose and mouth area are a bit different. Bringing in all but the PSP, which we'll bring in during the gameplay. During this scene where this dude is getting murdered, when we look at the shooters, one of the guys has a biker stash on the Wii and Xbox 360. no mustache on the PS2, Xbox, and PC, and a very small stash on the PS3. Then we show the bullets hitting the bottles. All versions have the bottles on car tires minus the Wii and PS3, they're on bricks. As I mentioned earlier, the Wii and PlayStation 3 are essentially the same version. On the PC, we see that this guy actually has a fighting chance to survive. There is no blood anywhere. This is an older title, so it could be just because I'm playing on modern hardware. A lot of older PC games never play properly on newer machines. The 360 and PS3 have shadows here. None of the other versions do. Also, all the wood debris is in different spots. The kid on the Wii is the worst looking one. At least he is to me. I like the lighting effects on his face on the PS2 and Xbox. They look better. Next, look at how the kid runs into frame. Every version is the same minus the Wii. There's a man missing right here. Also, the 360 and PS3 has a lot of blood on that dead body. The Don's face looks best on Windows, and his tie looks best on 360 and PS3. Super detailed. The kid's jacket looks very nice on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. You can see the stitching around the collar. The Wii version is the worst looking one here. Haven't even gotten to gameplay yet, but I keep finding stuff I need to discuss. On this shot, the kid's face looks great on PS2 and Xbox. It goes back to the lighting on his face that I mentioned earlier. Also, there is more detail on him too with the freckles. The Windows shows the best overall detail, where the Wii, 360, and PS3 are very smooth. The character creation is more or less the same. The PS2 and Xbox are in a black background, and the Wii, 360, and PS3 have a red barbershop background. And on the PC there's like a market behind him. Oh, and the Wii and PS3 also have Aldo wearing a red shirt. The original three, PS2, Xbox, and PC, have a different camera angle on this scene. The other three show the sky. Overall, it's an improvement. And here's another shot with different camera angles. Also, the woman walks into frame on the Wii, 360, and PS3 and not on the other three. Marlon Brando looks the best on the PC on this scene. At least he does to me. They all actually look pretty damn great minus the Wii. The Wii version is like Professor X de-aging from The Last Stand. Just very smooth skin. The detail put into this man's face is just incredible for the time, minus the Wii version. Now this part is very interesting. The Wii and PS3 have Aldo getting his ass kicked on a rooftop, where the other four you're just in a street alley. This ugly ass dude has a Travolta chin on the original three and a normal chin on the other three. I brighten this up because it's impossible to see otherwise. The PS2 has water puddles or paper debris or crack cocaine on the floor, and it's not present on any other one. The Wii added some extra buildings in front of the bridge. Since the Wii and the PS3 are the same version, I guess this gives the Wii a point, the first one so far. There is blood on these four and not these two. The Dawn Edition decided they wanted to cut back on it, I guess. Only on the 360 do you get this clothesline. Here is a different angle of the Wii background versus the PS3. Here's the water tower, and on the Wii you can see some extra buildings between the tower and the bridge that the PS3 doesn't have. Bringing the PSP into the mix, we are welcome to its first gameplay element. All versions have to do a beatdown in the alley, and the Wii and PS3 are on a rooftop. Right after the fight on the PS2, Xbox, PC, PSP, and 360, you follow Luca to the gate, talk to him, and then exit into the city to drive to your house a short distance away. On the PSP, you do all of that, but when you exit the gate, you immediately start the next mission. Never get to go into the city or to your house. On the Wii and PS3, you just go up to Luca and talk to him. He does the same speech, then the game loads you on the streets, and you have this goon who tags along with you to your house. On top of that, the house is way farther away. Not a complaint, just an observation. The PSP is obviously the worst one, but really isn't that bad. I love the PSP and it was a highly underrated handheld. Same with the Vita. The PS2 and Xbox are very comparable. You do get better detail on the Xbox and the Windows like I said before. The Wii has zero fog in the background like on the PS2 and Xbox, so the buildings in the far background are easier to see. The PC has the best street, some great textures right there. The 360 looks better than the PS3, but not by much here. The PlayStation 3 is just ever so slightly more blurry. Then when you're about to enter the shop to shake down the owner for money, we see that the door on the Wii, 360, and PS3 are different. When entering, you'll get this simple, easy to follow message on all versions, every single one of them. It is super easy to understand. However, on the PS3 and 360, before this super easy to follow message pops up, they decided to show you a video explaining it even further, treating the players like they're idiots. When you start smashing stuff to intimidate the shop owner, the Xbox, PS2, and PC only have the 2 items on the counter. The Wii, PS3, and 360 have 3 items, but the PS3 and 360 have glass bottles in the middle, whereas the Wii has cans. Also, the PSP is the only one where you can't read the paper on the counter. Ham ends and picnic ham. Moving upstairs, when in the illegal casino, the 360 and PlayStation 3 show a bunch of cigarette or cigar smoke, which is a nice touch because it is a casino. When you talk with the people in game, your camera will always zoom in and present you with different angles. On the PSP, the camera will just stay zoomed out for the most part. You do get different angles, but never really get close up, but at least there's still voice acting. The PSP is now gone from this video, as you can't really free roam in the game, and the stuff I did on the other hardware I couldn't do on the PSP. This dude is a bit different from all of them. The Xbox and PS3 look the same, and the PS2 and PC look the same. The Wii is unique with a nice mustache, and very blurry. I am zoomed in a lot on all of these, by the way. 360 does look like the PS3 and Xbox, but with more detail, so it almost looks different. When going to the barbershop on the Wii, PS3, and 360, Luca is inside throwing someone through the window. But on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC, there isn't a window breaking and Luca isn't even inside. For the most part, the PS2 actually has better draw distance than the Xbox. The Xbox does have better anti-aliasing though, which is better to have in my opinion. Look at the Xbox, the buildings pop in, and on the PS2, they were always there. Just looking at PS2 and Xbox, the PS2 gets these buildings to pop in right around the red door. The Xbox not too much after that. This is the case with the whole game. Nothing you would really notice unless you're side by side like this. When driving in the tunnel, only the PS3 gets a reflection from the surrounding area. But if you take a closer look, the reflection is like 2 frames a second and is pretty distracting, so I'd rather not have it at all. There are actually a ton of little to big differences from all these versions of the game. I think the one to play is the PlayStation 3 Dawn Edition, mainly due to all the added content. But I had such a blast playing all of them, even the PSP one, because it was pretty cool to see this game on a small scale. This was my first time playing the game, and I really did enjoy it, and I will continue to play my PlayStation 3 copy. That is all I have for you today, and I hope you enjoyed my side-by-side. Please don't forget to subscribe, ring that bell, leave a comment, and like the video. Thank you again, and take it easy.